Does Donald Trump appear anywhere in the Epstein files?
We have released where President Trump's name's in the Epstein files and everybody else, and all credible information that we are legally allowed to release has been released.
Let's talk about the witness interviews. Those are not subject to the court order. Those are not subject to any fictional sealed order for a search warrant. Why aren't you releasing those with the redacted names of the victims? Your testimony here is that all of those witness statements are under a court order, a protective order.
We are providing everything we can legally provide.
No, that's not my question. My question is, why are those witness statements that are not grand jury testimony, that if they were under a protective order are no longer under a protective order, why are they not being released? You are hiding the Epstein files, Mr. Patel.
The gentleman is expired.
You are part of the cover-up.
Any allegations that I'm a part of a cover-up to protect child sexual trafficking and victims of human trafficking and sexual crimes is patently and categorically false.
Does Donald Trump appear anywhere in the Epstein files? Simple question. 5 words. What follows is the most legally specific Epstein confrontation in this entire series, between a former federal prosecutor with 10 years of experience and an FBI director citing court orders that the congressman says don't say what Patel claims they say. The witness interview statements, the 302S, not grand jury testimony, not subject to 6E, not under the court orders Patel keeps citing. Goldman asked directly, why aren't those being released with victim names redacted? Patel says everything legally allowed has been released. Goldman says that's not an answer. How specifically are those witness statements legally blocked? Patel can't answer. Time expires. Goldman doesn't stop. You are hiding the Epstein files. You are part of the cover-up. On federal record, in the hearing room, this is the exchange where the legal argument finally meets someone qualified to challenge it. Subscribe now, because this series covers the hearings that go places most coverage doesn't.
Mr. Patel, does Donald Trump appear anywhere in the Epstein files?
I'm sorry, could you say that again?
It's not a complicated question. Does Donald Trump appear anywhere in the Epstein files?
I didn't say it was a complicated question. I just didn't hear you, so my apologies. We have released where President Trump's name's in the Epstein files and everybody else, and all credible information that we are legally allowed to release has been released.
All right, so let's go through that. You're referring to court orders that prohibit you from releasing grand jury testimony under Rule 6E. Is that what you're referring to when you say as the law allows?
That's a piece of it.
Really? What other evidence do those 3 court orders you cited prohibit from being released?
Information that was collected pursuant to those search warrants that were limited in fashion.
Wrong. That's not what the court order says, and that's not under 6E.
And you're talking, and I said that's 6E, and I said there was others, and I'm answering that. There are sealed court order documents. There are protective orders.
They are unsealed as part of discovery given to Ghislaine Maxwell. They are no longer sealed.
That's just not true. We can argue about it all you want.
Okay, well, you agree that there are, so your testimony here is that the reason why you are not releasing all of the videos that you have acknowledged, there are so many, and that the FBI spent thousands of hours of reviewing, the photographs, the photographs that you have. You're saying that you're not releasing those because there's a court order requiring them to be sealed? Is that your testimony?
The opening exchange establishes something that makes everything that follows significant. This isn't a political confrontation. It's a legal one. Goldman spent 10 years as a federal prosecutor. He knows exactly what court orders say, what 6E covers, what protective orders do and don't prohibit. When he tells Patel that's not what the court order says, that's not a political talking point. That's a professional assessment of a specific legal claim. Patel's answer on the Maxwell discovery documents is the first specific factual dispute in this exchange. Goldman says they were unsealed as part of Maxwell's discovery and are no longer under seal. Patel says that's just not true. 2 specific factual positions on a verifiable question about the status of specific legal documents. Only one of them can be accurate. That dispute, about what exactly the court orders cover and what documents are actually still sealed, is the foundation of everything Goldman builds next title. Goldman says that there is no way around the cartel's movement with some useless case, and proving that calls for a slop would be effective. And where he takes it is into territory no other questioner has gone with this much legal specificity.
Never said that about the videos. On the totality of the videos, of the thousands of images that were seized pursuant to the search warrants executed at the time, the overwhelming majority of that video is pornographic material that was downloaded from the internet and child sexual abuse material. We will never release that.
Well, as you should not release the victims. But if there are videos that relate to others who Epstein trafficked to, such as maybe Prince Andrew, or photographs, that you have total control to release.
Yes, and if it
And
exists,
so why haven't you released it?
why are you supposing that that is a fact when in fact it is false? Are you saying that
You're saying
I'm
that
sitting
none
on
of
that
the
evidence?
videos
Hang on.
relate to anything relevant to the Jeffrey Epstein trafficking ring?
Every single video that we have collected pursuant to the prior search warrants has been examined for the last 10 years. And every single video has been utilized for whatever prosecutions were able to be legally brought.
I'm not asking about prosecutions. I'm asking about why you aren't releasing the full Epstein files, including the names of people who were involved in the sex ring that you promised to do before you became FBI director.
I just told you, I'm not going to release downloaded porn of
I'm not
children on
asking
the
about
internet.
that. Fine. I'm asking about all the other files.
What other videos? Tell me. Tell me.
That's what I'm asking.
Tell me.
You're saying there are no videos that would be relevant to anyone else involved in the Jeffrey Epstein sex ring.
Pursuant to Mr. Acosta's collection of information based on the search warrants. That's all we have in our
I
possession.
understand. And I'm asking you, that stuff.
That's all we got.
I'm not asking all you got. I'm asking you, in that stuff, there's nothing that's related to any other sex traffic, any other people engaged with Epstein in underage sex.
That's correct. To my knowledge, no.
The video exchange is where Patel's legal defense gets its most specific test, and where the gap between what was promised and what exists becomes most concrete. Goldman separates the material into two categories: CSAM and downloaded pornography. Goldman agrees that should never be released. The other material, videos or photographs relating to other people involved in Epstein's network, that's what he's asking about. Patel's response is to question whether that second category exists at all. Why are you supposing that's a fact when it's false? Goldman's follow-up is precise. Are you saying none of the videos relate to anyone else involved in Epstein's trafficking? Patel says to his knowledge, no. That's an extraordinary statement sitting next to everything else documented in this series. Virginia Giuffre's sworn testimony, Ghislaine Maxwell naming cabinet members, Michael Wolff's described Polaroids, the Wall Street Journal reporting Bondi told Trump his name appeared multiple times. All of that public record sits alongside Patel's claim that none of the video or photographic material relates to anyone else in Epstein's network. One of those accounts of reality is wrong. Goldman now moves to the category of evidence that Patel's court order defense most clearly doesn't cover, and presses on exactly why it's still being withheld.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to discuss this administration's massive cover-up of the Epstein files in order to conceal President Trump's involvement. This cover-up reached its apex last month when Attorney General Pam Bondi falsely testified under oath before the House Judiciary Committee. The Attorney General testified, quote, "There is no evidence that Donald Trump has committed a crime. Everyone knows that," unquote. This is a lie. In the 3 million or so documents that the DOJ has disclosed to Congress under the Epstein Files Transparency Act, there is credible evidence that Donald Trump committed a crime. Donald Trump is mentioned thousands of times in the Epstein files. There are multiple allegations that he sexually assaulted young girls. But I want to focus on one victim's allegations that the FBI unquestionably found to be credible. Let's talk about the witness interviews, 302s of witness interviews. Those are not subject to the court order. Those are not subject to any fictional sealed order for a search warrant. Why aren't you releasing those with the redacted names of the victims?
We are releasing as much as legally allowed. That's why we went back to
How
the
is that?
courts.
How is that not legally allowed?
Sir, do you know how court orders work? Do you know how protective orders work?
Actually,
Do you know how
Mr.
sealing
Patel,
orders
I was a
work?
prosecutor, a real prosecutor for 10 years. I know exactly how.
So I was a
court
fake one?
orders. And I want to understand what the court order prevents you from releasing witness statements that the FBI took.
You should know that as a real prosecutor, when the court hand downs a protective order and a motion to seal, the material is sealed unless
So
that
your
judge
testimony
waives
here
it.
is that all of those witness statements are under a court order, a protective order.
We are providing everything we can legally provide.
No, that's not my question. My question is, why are those witness statements that are not grand jury testimony, that if they were under a protective order are no longer under a protective order, why are they not being released?
How are they not under a protective order?
Why are you not going to the court like you did for the grand jury testimony to unseal those records?
The DOJ did go to the court.
No, not on those records. Why aren't you going? You just went on grand jury.
Time of the gentleman has expired.
You are hiding the Epstein files, Mr. Patel.
Time of the gentleman has expired.
You are part of the cover-up.
Can I respond?
Sure can.
Any allegations that I'm a part of a cover-up to protect child sexual trafficking and victims of human trafficking and sexual crimes is patently and categorically false in the work of my...
So I hope you will talk to them when they have requested to speak with you, because the victims have requested and you are not responding to them.
The 302 SR, the most legally significant detail in this entire exchange, and they're the one piece of evidence that most clearly exposes the NBA 302 SR, witness interview reports. When an FBI agent interviews a witness, they write a 302 summarizing what was said. These documents are not grand jury testimony. They are not subject to 6E. They are not inherently covered by a search warrant sealing order. They are standard law enforcement documents that agencies release in FOIA requests, in congressional investigations, and in court proceedings regularly. Goldman's question is specific and legally grounded. What specific protective order currently covers those witness statements and prevents their release? Patel's answer is that Goldman, as a real prosecutor, should know how this works. Goldman fires back directly. I was a real prosecutor for 10 years. That's why I'm asking you to identify the specific order. That exchange. Real prosecutor demanding a specific legal citation, FBI director unable to provide one, is the most legally substantive confrontation in this series. The "I was a fake once" line from Patel is the moment where the legal argument breaks down into personal attack. Then Goldman's time expires. He doesn't stop. You are hiding the Epstein files. You are part of the cover-up, said directly. On the federal record, Patel calls it patently and categorically false. Then Goldman adds the detail that closes this hearing. The survivors have been requesting to meet with you and you are not responding to them. The same question Jayapal raised in script number 26A. Still unanswered. Still on the record. The legal argument about 302S, court orders and Maxwell discovery documents isn't resolved in this hearing room. It's going to have to be resolved somewhere else. And whether that somewhere else ever comes is the question this series will keep tracking. Subscribe, because the Epstein story in these hearings is not finished, not by a long way.
The DOJ tried to hide reports of 3 of the 4 interviews that this victim gave to the FBI, but pressure from the media and Congress forced them to disclose them. And now we know why. She credibly accuses Donald Trump of sexually assaulting her when she was between 13 and 15. In each of her interviews, this victim recited the same account of her interaction with Donald Trump. On August 7th, 2019, she explained that she was between 13 and 15 when she was left alone with Donald Trump, who, quote, mentioned something to the effect of, "Let me teach you how little girls are supposed to be." Trump unzipped his pants and put her head down, quote, down to his penis. Bit the S out of it. Trump struck the victim and said words to the effect of, "Get this little B the hell out of here." The victim advised that she bit Trump's penis because he disgusted her. In a 21-page PowerPoint presentation that the FBI made to prosecutors, they included this victim's testimony. They would not have done so if they did not find the evidence credible, which means that Attorney General Bondi lied when she stated under oath that there is no evidence that Donald Trump committed a crime.